I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point. And the things that they're going to miss is, well, everything. You know, I love my country. I always have done.
Now, unfortunately for the great people of the UK, and fortunately for us here in the States, a year after Prince Harry made that statement, apparently he's decided that actually he can see a future where he and his family move home to Britain, because the news broke that they are, in fact, moving back to the UK. They have booked one-way tickets across the pond, which has left everyone wondering why. But I actually think that they are making the best choice possible for their family. Let me explain why. Now, before we dive into this story, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the show, always jumping into the comments, liking the videos. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and ring that notification bell if you want to be updated every single time we upload a new episode. Alrighty, so we have not covered our dear friends, the Sussexes, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, since January, which is crazy because they are one of my favorite things to talk about. I feel like I always have a little bit about them when I do my live shows because they're always doing something ridiculous, but at least here on this show, we have not discussed them since January. And a lot has happened since January. So before we talk about their latest move across the pond, let's catch up with them. So as you probably remember, Spotify canceled Meghan's first podcast, which was called Archetypes, a couple of years ago. And then after that, I always say that Meghan is the perfect example of failing upwards. If you feel like life has gotten you down, you just can't catch a break, everything you're trying is failing, just know you can always look to Meghan Markle because somehow she makes it work. Somehow she always has a new business, a new idea. This woman is going to go down trying, which honestly is a good thing to learn from her. Anyway, moving on from that, always trying to find the positive. Archetypes was canceled by Spotify. She decided to try a new podcast, which was called Confessions of a Female Founder. But that podcast also ended after one season. I think a problem with a lot of Meghan's content is that she was trying to make content for a 2016 woman. Like Archetypes was about, busting through the glass ceiling, busting through the archetypes of what a woman is. We're not just confined to our roles in society. We are multifaceted creatures. Confessions of a Female Founder was about women, again, shattering the glass ceiling. The secret, untold stories of female founders like herself creating her lifestyle brand with her overpriced Montecito jams. Whatever it is, nobody gives a shit. Truly, like that era of feminism died in 2016. Meghan was certainly a part of it with her blog, The Tig, back in 2014. But Meghan, while you were busy being a royal in the UK, the rest of the world moved on. So catch up. Anyway, I keep getting off on tangents here, but again, I do love talking about them. So that podcast was canceled. Then she finally launched her brand as ever. She had Netflix as a partner, not just on her TV show, but also with the brand itself, which sort of became a laughingstock because, again, the overpriced jam and the flower sprinkles that she was putting on freaking everything. And then Netflix realized that that brand really wasn't going anywhere, so they withdrew their partnership from the brand, and at the same time, they also canceled her show With Love, Meghan, because again, nobody liked that show either. And at the time, there was a whole lot of speculation about this falling out with Netflix after they ended their $100 million deal with the couple. Listen to these headlines. These are all from the last year. Meghan accused of steamrolling Harry in disastrous Netflix meetings. Fed up Netflix CEO allegedly won't speak to Meghan Markle on the phone without a lawyer present. Netflix boss unfollows Meghan Markle after streamer cuts ties with royals. And this kind of news is not new information for the world. There have long been anonymous sources coming out and saying that Meghan is difficult to work with, people saying that she never actually did her podcast interviews on that first podcast, that somebody else would feed the people questions, that sort of thing. So again, nothing new. It's all allegedly, but again, we've heard this before. Now, Netflix has on paper denied all of the drama, but one thing is clear, the partnership is effectively dead. It was not working for them. It was not successful. So as it stands now, all Netflix has with them and with their production company is a first right of refusal deal. So if Meghan and Harry want to create another movie or TV show, whatever it is, another documentary, maybe about them returning to the UK, they have to show Netflix first, but Netflix is not automatically going to buy it. They don't have some kind of $100 million deal anymore. Now, while all of that was going down professionally, Harry was dealing with some legal troubles across the pond. Now, you might remember he lost his huge UK taxpayer security case earlier this year, which is why he said he would never bring his family back to the UK because it just wasn't safe for him. Now, the TLDR on that case is that when Harry and Meghan denounced the royal family in 2020 when they boarded the Tyler Perry Freedom flight to Santa Barbara and moved to the U.S., Harry obviously lost his around-the-clock taxpayer-funded police protection in the U.K., and instead, the royal and the VIP executive committee decided that his security would be assessed on a case-by-case basis whenever he would come back and visit Britain, and this made total sense to the rest of the world. Like, not even a question in my mind. I mean, you denounced your family, you stopped being a working member of the royal family, so why would you assume that you were going to continue reaping the benefits? You're not putting in the time, you're not going to the events, doing the philanthropy, whatever it is. You don't get to have the round-the-clock protection and have it be paid for by taxpayers because you're not doing anything for the taxpayers anymore. But even more than that, you and your wife are saying that you want to retreat, you want to be independent, you want to have a private life, and even more than that, you called your family backwards and racist. You said that your father and your brother were trapped in the royal family. What makes you think that that same family is going to turn around and go, yes, Harry, please keep hitting us and writing memoirs about us and destroying us in the press. We will continue to give you everything they want. No, that's not how the world works, you idiot. You reap what you sow. Anyway, even though it made sense to the rest of the world, it did not make sense to Harry, and so he turned around and he sued them. He literally sued them to try to get taxpayer-funded security. He said that this left his family vulnerable, all the things. He referenced his mother, tried to bring emotions into it. Anyway, he lost that case both in the High Court and in the Court of Appeal because he just kept trying to push further and further. That was, I believe, at the end of last year. So he's saying that he can't come back to the UK because of this. He made this huge snafu about not being able to come back because of security. He lost the case. And now, a year later, they are returning to the UK. They're setting up a private residence. They are enrolling their 2 children in a school in the UK come September. So what could have possibly changed to make the move? So here is what we know, allegedly know, based on sources. So this is from People Magazine, who got the exclusive, because even though they want a private life, they're going to give the exclusive to People Magazine. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are relocating with Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet to the UK for an extended period beginning this month, People understands, with the children set to begin school there in September. The couple will maintain their home in Montecito, California, and their vacation property in Portugal, while establishing a private non-royal home based in Britain. The location of the new family's home and the children's school are being closely guarded. That makes total sense. Not going to try to speculate there. King Charles was made aware of the couple's plans on Sunday, August 16th, People understand. So he essentially learned about this just 24 hours before the rest of the public learned about it. And he welcomes the opportunity to see more of the Sussex family in a private and personal capacity. Charles is said to have been clear that there will be no change in the Duke and Duchess of Sussex status as private individuals and non-working members of the royal family, in keeping with the wishes that they expressed and the arrangement reached when they stepped back from royal duties. Those close to the Sussexes believe that they have successfully executed the half-in, half-out model that Harry and Meghan proposed to the royal family in 2019. With a base in Britain, Harry will be able to spend more time with charities, including Scotty's Little Soldiers and Well Child, as well as the Invictus community that he runs, while Meghan continues leading her lifestyle company as ever and pursuing future projects. Who knows what that's going to be, but Meghan will be pursuing them. Does not matter if everything else goes down the drain. She will have new things on the horizon. Just watch out. And my favorite part of that article was this. Well, the couple appeared to have an idyllic life in Montecito. Appeared to have one. They had like a $12 million home in a gated community next to Oprah in one of the most beautiful parts of the entire country. If you've never been to Santa Barbara, I mean, it is just like jaw-droppingly gorgeous. They appeared to have an idyllic life. They have made no secret of their disillusionment with the current White House. Oh, even with the big mansion, the security, the vacation home in Portugal, it was just going to be too difficult to live in the United States thanks to President Trump. With the midterm elections fast approaching, concerns about the direction of the U.S. loom large for many. So I think what we really need to do here is thank President Trump. I know that there are a lot of people that are not too thrilled with Trump right now, but guys, let's come together. Let's thank him for this amazing development, and let's say once and for all that self-deportations do work. We love to see it. You know, this might have been the thing that could have saved Kristi Noem. If this had happened under Kristi Noem, oh my gosh, she would be doing photo shoots, tweets, press releases. You just know she would have milked it. Anyway, They are successful. We are pleased about it. Now, if only the pro-life community could be as successful, which honestly, preborn is. Now, our modern culture talks a lot about choice, but largely avoids the truth. And my friends over at Preborn want to change that, because the truth is this. Women facing unplanned pregnancies are often rushed, pressured, and told to decide immediately about their and their child's future before they even see what is actually happening in their bodies. No pause, no clarity, no truth. But when a mother sees her baby on an ultrasound, when she is offered medical care, financial support, even prayer, the narrative in her life changes. At Preborn Network clinics, a woman is welcomed with compassion, and she is given a free ultrasound right when she walks into the clinic. She sees the life growing inside of her, often for the very first time. And in that sacred moment, which honestly, in my opinion, is probably one of the greatest moments of a woman's entire life, fear gives way to truth. And when she hears that heartbeat, it is undeniable that there is a life growing inside of her. That is not some abstract idea. It's not an alien, that is a life. And in that moment, fear gives way to clarity. So the question is simple. Will she get that moment or not? Because that moment depends on people like you supporting Preborn. Just $28 provides 1 ultrasound, $140 provides 5. This is direct, it is measurable, and it works. Preborn saves thousands of babies every single year thanks to people like you. So don't wait. Call pound 250 and say the keyword baby. Again, that is pound 250, keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Brett. Again, preborn.com/Brett to sponsor an ultrasound and help a mother choose life today. Now, did you know that Fox One is just $19.99 a month, and it includes all of your Fox favorites in one place? We are talking 24/7 Fox News coverage, the biggest sporting events and hit shows like MasterChef, Farmer Wants a Wife, my personal favorite, The Masked Singer, and Hell's Kitchen, all streaming live. These are the kind of shows that you start watching casually, and then suddenly you can't stop talking about it, and you just can't put down. And honestly, the reality TV alone makes it worth it for me, but Fox One goes way beyond that. Between breaking news, major sporting events like the FIFA World Cup, and the kind of can't-miss content that keeps you hooked, it quickly becomes one of those apps that you wonder how you ever lived without. And the best part is there is a 3-day free trial, so you can try it out, no strings attached, fall in love with it, and then move on and enjoy finally having it, because truly, Fox One will allow you to cut the cord on cable forever. I mean, you don't need it with Fox One. So just go to fox.com to start streaming anywhere, anytime on all of your favorite devices. Offer subject to change. See Fox One for complete terms and conditions. All right, now back to the story, now that we've read the People exclusive about the private family that does not want any attention from the press. Additionally, some people online are speculating that the actual reason why Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are trying to get out of Dodge quickly is because of a racketeering case that they have been named in, along with all the usuals like Roc Nation, Diddy, Beyonce, and Jay-Z, and you can see the court filing right here. However, while this is a real filing that I looked into, this case is essentially dead. It is going nowhere. It went nowhere. It basically looks like a shakedown. So personally, I do not think this is the reason why they are moving. There is no reason to believe that this case is progressing that would put them in any danger financially or anything else. So all I'm saying is I don't think that is the motivation. Although, in discussing why they might be leaving if it's not just familial reasons, an interesting angle on this specific timing came from a man named Nimesh Shah, who is the CEO of a huge UK tax firm, and he posted this. He said, "Good to see Harry and Meghan achieve 6 full tax years of non-UK residency to manage the temporary non-resident rules for capital gains taxes. They clearly have had some good tax advice, and the timing of their move back to the UK is immaculate." So basically, to explain this in layman's terms, because I am not a UK tax expert, I am not even a US tax expert, Meghan and Harry went abroad, and they lived abroad for exactly the right amount of time before they chose to come back to dodge a very significant tax trap where they would have been taxed on everything that they sold abroad if they had moved home even 5 months sooner. So they needed to be gone. I believe it was more than 5 years, maybe closer to 6, in order to avoid getting one huge tax bill right upon returning to UK soil. But Shaw also pointed out in his comment section that if they wanted to dodge an even bigger trap and save even more money, which is the UK taxing them on everything that they earn abroad, they should have waited a full 10 years to come back home. So maybe it actually was not that sly. Maybe the advice actually wasn't that great, but he was pointing out that maybe this is why they waited the extra 5 months. Anyway, giving them the benefit of the doubt here, removing all speculation about racketeering and business failure and tax breaks, whatever, this could very well be as simple as the family is working on reconciling. And Harry wants to be closer to his dad, wants his children to be closer to his dad, especially following his cancer scare, which happened last year. And this would line up in terms of the timeline, because in July, King Charles hosted Harry and Meghan and Archie and Lilibet at Highgrove, which was the first time which is crazy. The first time that he had seen his grandchildren since 2022. Now, some have said that maybe they were inspired to move back after that visit because something happened there. However, one thing that I did see that online sleuths pulled out, fellow parents in the Santa Barbara Montecito area reported earlier this summer that the Sussex children had not been re-enrolled at their Montecito school. There was a poster there whose goddaughter goes to the same school as Archie and Lilibet, and she said everybody knows that they are not re-enrolling. They don't know where they're going, but they have pulled their kids out of the school. So it seems like maybe this was sort of a plan all along. And you can see that post there. It was from the beginning of June when this was first reported. So, there's a lot of speculation. Everybody is talking about this. Everybody is pointing and laughing and saying, you failed, you have to go back home. My hope, and I've said this all along, my hope, especially for Harry and his children, Meghan, well, she'll be fine, is that this truly is a result of familial reconciliation. Now, I've seen a lot of people online scoff and say that they are taking the easy way out, that they're coming home with their tail between their legs, but I would actually disagree just purely on the family aspect of the story, because it is far easier to cut people off and not deal with your issues. I mean, think about everything that happened in the political chaos of, 2020 through 2024, even 2026, whatever, the last 6 years or so. Everybody was encouraging you to just cut off your family, block them, don't speak to your backwards Fox News watching grandparents. It's so much better. Cut them out of your life. You don't need that energy. That is the easy solution. That is the selfish solution. It's something that I have done before. I've been open about the fact that my father and I didn't speak for years. And at the time, it felt like the right thing to do. I held so many grudges. I did not want to deal with the situation. The harder thing to do later in life, after I met Alex and I realized that I wanted to prioritize putting our family back together, the harder thing was reconciling. The harder thing is putting grudges aside and putting resentment and hurt aside and putting pride aside and coming back to the table and saying, we are family and we want to make it work. The harder choice is also not just unblocking somebody or reopening the door for communication, but moving across the world to be closer to them. They're not just saying, oh, maybe we'll pop in and see you. Maybe you'll FaceTime the kids a couple of times a week. They are moving. They're choosing to be in a place where the UK press will certainly watch their every move, where his family will also be watching them, have thoughts and opinions, hold up a mirror, because that is what parents do for you. They're also choosing to leave their very progressive, liberal, affirming community of Meghan lovers like Beyonce and Tyler Perry and Oprah, all the people. They're choosing to leave her family to come live near his family. We're just objectively not trying to pick sides, but there is a very toxic, resentful history based on everything that has happened over the last 10 years. That is not taking the easy way out. Objectively, that is taking the hardest, most painful way out. There is obviously going to be major discomfort on both sides, but I'm sure that there is a priority to hopefully bring the family back together because family is important. And my hope is that they are doing this for the benefit of their children, because their children deserve to know their family. Their children deserve to know the important role that their family plays in this country. And it is up to the parents, honestly, on both sides, and the grandparents to suck it up, deal with the issues, deal with the criticism from the public, deal with the discomfort of putting their lives back together in order to make that happen, because that is the mature, responsible thing to do. And obviously, I'm not saying that if you are estranged from family members, obviously you have to come back together and put everything aside. There are circumstances where it is good to be estranged. There are situations where there is no hope for any kind of reconciliation, but I do think that if you have taken the quote unquote easy way out, if you've been pressured by politics, or if you had, sort of like I did, an idea of your father as a child that you're able to kind of swallow and get over as an adult because you want him there in his grandchild's life, then maybe it's time to reconsider. And, maybe I'm looking at this with rose-colored glasses. Maybe I'm being naive, but I hope that that is why they are moving home. And if that is the case, then I do think it is for the best.